you, and if the Klan get out of line, we're also here to help defend you and protect our people.
All right, that is Quanell X. Now, last night on the Fox News channel, Hannity and Combs, Quanell X was squared off with Michael Lowe of Waco, Texas, a member of the Ku Klux Klan.
We're demonstrating to denounce to the world that we, the Ku Klux Klan, is not a violent organization. We are not bringing weapons to intimidate.
All right, the Klan insists it's not a violent organization, but Quanell X said his group plans to arrive in Jasper armed. Now, Mr. X would not admit that his group's weapons would be loaded, just that they would be carrying firearms.
To the Ku Klux Klan, and we're saying to all members of the Ku Klux Klan, we will fight you by any means necessary for the hearts and minds of our people.
All right, now the Klan is going to be there. Why, I ask you, should the Black Muslim Klan play to no audience? I think that's the way to treat the Klan. Ignore them, pretend they're not there, close stores, close fast food restaurants, tell townspeople to stay home, and wait for the Klan to go home. Now, several years ago in Pulaski, Tennessee, which is believed to be, or which claims to be in some circles, the birthplace of the Klan, although obviously there's the claim by Stone Mountain as well, we ignored the Klan. The Klan got a parade permit, which they could not be denied. Their First Amendment rights are the same as yours or mine. But no one came. No one showed up. Fast food restaurants closed. Stores closed. All the townspeople stayed home until the Klan was gone. Why should the Black Muslims respond? Why should they give the Klan an audience? What does the Klan really want to begin with?
I will state, as Abraham Lincoln said, he said that whites were superior to blacks, and that they should never be on juries, vote, or hold any political office, and I agree with that.
All right, that's Michael Lowe of the Klan, and Danny Carver is a member of the Klan in Georgia for more than 20 years. Danny is on the line with us. Danny, thank you very much for your time this morning. I appreciate it.
Okay, I'm here.
All right, glad to have you. Now, listen, here's what we're going to do. I want to take a quick break. When we get back, I've got callers on the line. I've got you. I want to ask you what you think of what's going on in Jasper, Texas, your response to what happened to Mr. Byrd several weeks ago, and your response to the Klan planning on gathering in Jasper this weekend, okay?
Okay.
All right, we'll talk to you in a couple of minutes.
Well, he was an ex-felon on parole. He had the same parole officer.
All right,
as one of the
and let me say this, sir. Just because he was an ex-felon on parole did not give some white racist the right to drag him behind a truck to his head, come clean off his body. So don't try to justify what these no-good racist devils did.
Mr.
And if
Lowe,
you try to justify, you are a devil yourself.
Now, Mohammed Jr., let me assure you that these two men may have known each other, and my contention is that it was a drug deal which went bad.
Yeah, I know you told me this is kind of an act. Okay, now I'm pissed. Well, why you tell me nothing?
Dave Stone is on News Radio WGST.
All right, 9:16. We're back. Your reaction to the Klan presence planned in Jasper this weekend, but also your reaction to the planned presence of the Black Muslims in Jasper in response to the presence of the Klan. Now, the Klan did not even need to apply for a parade permit in Jasper. They just simply say they're going to show up, and there's nothing that can be done to stop them. My feeling about the Klan is, if you ignore them, maybe they'll just go away. Danny Carver is a member of the Klan. He has lived in Georgia for 20 years and has been a member of the Klan for at least that long. Danny, once again, thank you for being with us. I appreciate it.
Sure.
All right, now your reaction to the recent murder, allegedly by white supremacists in Jasper, Texas, of James Byrd Jr.
Well, it was wrong to kill anybody, but it's just as wrong to say the Klan done it.
All right,
the Klan didn't have anything to do with it.
No, I didn't.
Nobody's even been found guilty, and in this country we're innocent until found guilty.
All right, but two of the men who have been arrested, both have white supremacist insignia on their arms, tattoos. They're both ex-convicts.
You can go down to the jewelry store and buy you a Masonic ring, too, but it won't make you a Mason.
Yeah, but Mr. Carver, just the same, these men have white supremacist markings on their body. It was found that they were consorting with white supremacists in prison prior to their parole. And just your reaction, first of all, you're aware of this weekend's planned march in Jasper, right?
Right.
All right, what purpose does that march serve?
Well, they've got a right to march to let their feelings be known. They don't agree with this murder, and they're letting the public know that they don't agree with it. They let the public know they didn't have nothing to do with it.
All right, they can
The
just...
Klan is nonviolent. Now, the blacks are violent. You just heard the guy speak saying they're going to be there with weapons and they're going to attack the Klan. They do it regular, but that's not news. It's only news if it's white on black. Black on white ain't never been news.
All right, let me ask you a question. Wouldn't it be better if the Klan simply were to announce we had nothing to do with this and leave it at that? Why march? Why exacerbate the feelings of the feelings of the people in Jasper, Texas? They're already embarrassed by this. It turns out that Jesse Jackson was there, and he found that white people in Jasper were just as outraged as blacks or anyone else. Why couldn't the Klan simply just say we had nothing to do with it?
Because if the Klan done it just like you said, it wouldn't make news. Nobody would know it. The Klan is trying to get the message out to the country that they didn't have anything to do with it.
Again, they could have just announced it without marching. Why are they marching?
It wouldn't have made news. I mean, last week, another black man down in Louisiana claimed he got dragged behind a car by three
white people.
That story. And it didn't even make news. If I hadn't read it in the Klan paper, I wouldn't even knew about it.
All right, let's be honest.
And he claimed now a week later, he claimed that, yeah, it was a drug deal went bad. He was trying to reach through the car window to get his drugs back.
All right, the Klan, there's no question about this. The Klan loves an audience, right?
Sure, everybody does.
Okay, if your brothers march in Jasper, Texas, and businesses close for the day and people stay home, would it be a disappointment to members of the Klan who are planning this march?
No, it wouldn't be no disappointment because we would be exercised our rights, and that's what the Klan's all about. We want our rights. We want free speech. We want the right to assembly peacefully, and we're going to have that right, and we're going to take it.
All right, let me ask you a question. Do you believe that whites are intellectually superior to blacks?
There's no doubt about it. Whites are superior to all races.
Whites are superior to all. On what grounds do you base that, sir?
Well, every test that's ever been given proves it, whether school teachers, policemen, firemen, or whatever. The test proves that whites always score at least 15 points higher than the blacks.
All right, now why do you think that is?
Why? Because they're superior.
Because they're superior. Well, what would you say about people?
Well, if it wasn't for the whites of bringing the blacks over here and giving them welfare, food stamps, and housing projects, they'd still be over there swinging from trees in Africa, and they still are in everywhere except South Africa.
Mr. Carver, I think that's overstating the case just a little bit. What about people like Clarence Thomas? What about the doctor who was?
What about affirmative action? And if it wasn't for affirmative action, Clarence Thomas wouldn't be no Supreme Court justice. He'd be picking cotton somewhere.
That is totally and completely untrue. Let me, Mr. Carver, this is what the problem.
Nothing untrue about it. Where would blacks be without affirmative action?
Mr. Carver.
Where would blacks be without all these job quotas?
Mr. Carver, I'm no fan of affirmative action.
Where would they be without them programs?
I am no fan of affirmative action. However, I think, what I think you do is you do yourself a disservice. You could make some valid points about the dangers of affirmative action, the problems associated with affirmative action, which I have made on this program many times. But I think when you make remarks about people swinging from trees and they'd be better off in Africa, what you do is you destroy your argument. And you make yourself look like
National Geographic. National Geographic shows it. It ain't something I made up. I've never been to Africa, but I watch the National Geographic shows and I see what they're doing in the countries that are not run by the whites.
All right, Mr. Carver, if you'll hold, we'll get back to you momentarily. Thank you very much. I've got Norman in Ellenwood, James in his car in LJ. All of you will be heard from next. You'll be joined by Mr. Danny Carver of the Ku Klux Klan. Stay with us.
Dave Stone. Call now, 404-367-WGST.
Here with Danny Carver of the Klan. Go ahead, sir.
Hi. Y'all were talking about where would blacks be without affirmative action. I would like to ask the question, where would blacks be without Ku Klux Klan, 120 years of murder, hangings, and general overall terror against blacks in this country? And as far as the Muslims and the new Black Panther Party is concerned, well, we need groups like that to protect the interests and the rights of blacks in this country. The law hasn't done it. So, and why shouldn't we respond to this terror? Any group, Jews would definitely respond to brown shirts. and not to respond to the Klan and the overall hate activities. This is not alleged. They have 120 years of terror, and all they do now is just hide behind the words of the Constitution, but their overall goal is...
Well, you're talking about Klan violence against blacks many, many years ago, and they were also violent against whites that wouldn't work and support their families. But today, there's 10 blacks murdered by other blacks.
That has nothing to do
every time you hear of a Klan, you have to go back 10 years to find where a Klansman killed a black. Maybe these here 3 might have been associated with the Klan in some way. We deny it. I've never heard of them before. But the Klan does not kill black people. Black people kill black people. Black-owned black crime is the highest crime rate in this country.
Sir, I'm concerned with the terror that the Ku Klux Klan has perpetuated.
Well, most of the fear is because of your superstition.
Excuse me?
Most of your fear is where you're superstitious and practicing voodoo. If I put on my Klan robe and walk through your neighborhood, you ain't got nothing to be scared of, because I ain't going to bother you. I've never harmed a black person in my life, and I don't know any Klan member that has.
Would you tell the truth?
Sure, I tell the truth.
Then how is the Klan how is the Klan not a hate group?
Hate group? We're a love group. We love white people. We don't hate dogs, but we don't let dogs come in our house and eat with us.
Oh, look, you got 120 years of terror, and just by the mere fact that someone would have you on the air to spout your ignorance.
Well, he's shining a flashlight on me. You know, they think they shine the flashlight it'll let the world see how mean we are, but we're not mean. We're good. You know, the good we do, nobody remembers. If there's anything bad about us, nobody forgets.
What good do you do, sir?
What good do we do?
That it's 120.
I'll tell you what. Norman, thank you very much. I'll tell you what, Danny Carver, please hold, and we'll have you respond to that question of what good you do when we get back. 9:29. I've got James.
He was so black. He was smart. He ran circles around me in calculus, and calculus is hard. He was making A's while I was struggling to make C's, and it changed my mind. And I'm just so ashamed, because I know what the Klan stands for. And if I was a black man, every time I saw somebody in a Klan outfit, I'd bust him in the head, because I know what they stand for. I don't advocate that. But
I'm so proud of you. If that black man was so good, he might make you a fine brother-in-law.
Talk about ignorance. Your English is so bad, whoever you are, Mr. White Klan guy, that I know a lot of black guys got a whole lot better English than you've got.
I don't want to bust you in the head. I just want you to wake up.
You know, you know the story of Jesus in the Bible when he went in the temple and cleaned house? If Jesus was here today, he would clean your cloth because you disgust me and you would disgust him. There's no love.
I know what Jesus would do, because I read the Bible too, and Jesus said, give each according to his ability.
I hope that all the black
people know. And the Bible tells me on the first page 10 different times, kind after kind. Kind after kind, what the Bible says.
Folks in Atlanta know this.
All right, one at a time.
90% of all the white people I know don't have these feelings. It's just a few tiny, small fraction of hate mongers that do the Klan kind of thing, and we don't feel that way.
All right, James, thank you very much.
Well, I guess if 90% of the white people don't agree with us, why did Texaco, Shawnee's, Burger King, Denny's, all these restaurants and everybody else keep getting sued for discriminating against blacks if so few of us are out there?
All right, well, let me ask you a question, Danny. You said moments ago, and I wanted to get a response to this, you said that the Klan doesn't get any credit for the good that it does. What good does the Klan...
We do a lot of good. We protest and distribute literature every day in this country to teach children the Bible truth and the truth about drugs, and we're against abortions and the truth about gays. And
what's the truth about gays?
What's the truth about gays? Well, the Bible truth is what I just said. The Bible tells us that a man that lays with another man should be put to death.
Doesn't the Bible also...
It also tells us that a man that lies with a beast as with another should be put to death, both the man and the beast.
Doesn't the Bible also say to love your brother as you love yourself?
That's right, and that's why he separated us and put the blacks in Africa and gave
come
us
on,
this land
Danny.
over here, the land that flows with milk and honey.
Danny,
That's what he gave us.
nonsense.
He promised us this land, and we've turned it into a jungle.
All right.
We are destroying the land that God gave us.
Why are we destroying? How are we destroying it?
We destroy it looking for cheap labor. We brought the black man over here looking for cheap labor, and now we're bringing the Mexicans over here looking for cheap labor. The white man is always looking for cheap labor, and it's costing us.
All right, Joe is on the line with Danny Carver of the Klan. Joe, go ahead.
Hey, Danny Carver, Joe Carter, I support you in your efforts to exonerate yourself. As a matter of fact, I called Jasper, Texas, and volunteered my services as a mediator. I agree that black-on-black crime is at an all-time high. I agree that black-on-black oppression is as horrible as ever. I agree that political corruption, selfishness, and greed by black politicians is at an all-time worst. And I agree, and I think you should stand firm. And I also think that the black Muslims and all of the Negroes, Jim Crow Negroes, for that matter, ought to be whipped. And I think you should stand your stand.
All right, so Joe, you're a black man?
Yes, I am.
All right, and you're in favor of what the Klan is doing, marching in Jasper, Texas, in what I see is nothing more than an attempt to aggrandize themselves and exacerbate the problems that have befallen Jasper.
Well, I don't agree, because I think that no different than Jesse Jackson and Khalid Muhammad and those people rushing out there and doing their ambulance chasing routine, I think the Klan has a right to stand up and say just as they said, because I feel strongly about this, because when I heard about it, I said, who says it's the Klan? I'm a card-carrying member of NAACP. So if I committed a crime, would it be fair, just as he said, to indict NAACP? And if NAACP rose up to defend themselves, it would be justified. So the First Amendment rights, are guaranteed sometimes. And I think in this instance, I personally want to go to Jasper to stand with the Klan. And if, the right parties, and I've spoke with Mr. Diggle out
Let me
there.
ask you a question once again. See, my point is, the Klan marching in Jasper, Texas serves no purpose.
It does, Dave.
No, it doesn't, Joe, and I'm not denying them their First Amendment rights. I'm simply saying, what is the point of going there? What is the point of doing this? I would ask the same question, and I asked it earlier, of the black Muslims. What are the black Muslims doing going to respond to the Klan? The point is, the Klan could have its say, and could say what it wanted to say, could deny any involvement in the murder of James Byrd Jr. without going to Jasper, where feelings are running hot right now, and without marching on the town. There's no purpose. There's nothing constructive that comes of this.
Okay, first thing Jesse came out with was Great Shades of Emmett Till. This is the worst hate crime since Emmett Till. He takes us back. So I'm talking about...
Look, I don't deny Jesse Jackson being an opportunist at all. I've said that many times. I'm just saying the Klan would do itself a far greater service if it were not so militant and not marching. And I'm not... My way of handling this, Joe, and my way of handling this, Danny, would simply be for the Klan to make a statement, deny involvement, and let the case lie where it is. Danny,
the Klan is not going to be violent. The Klan is never violent. But when the Klan shows up and the blacks gang up against them, that's where the violence comes from. It's just like I done a talk show with Jose Williams once, and I mentioned the fact that everywhere Martin Luther King went, they had riots. He said Martin Luther King didn't cause the riots. He just uncovered the violence that was already there. Well, that's what the Klan would do. If the Klan shows up and the blacks attack, we've just uncovered the violence that's already there.
Well, look, I was among the first to say that there is no reason for anyone to be there, the black Muslims included, but I don't think the Klan needs to be there either.
You can never tell me of a time when the Klan burnt down a town like the L.A. riots or Virginia Beach, or there's been hundreds of them where the blacks gather up and they riot and they loot.
I've never said that. I appreciate it. Danny, do me a favor. Hang on there. We'll grab you momentarily. More from Danny Carver. What? Rosa is in the car in Roswell. Rosa, you're on the air with Danny Carver. Go ahead.
I am so angry. I have shooting pains going down my arm. I am so angry. I'm so embarrassed that people from other parts of the country look at Southerners and they think that we are all like this man. It's a hate monger. And Dave, unfortunately, you have a tendency to kind of group born-again Christians in this same group. We do not.
Whoa,
Hang on.
Rosa, when have I ever grouped born-again Christians in any group like that?
Because you think, Dave, that we feel the same way about homosexuals.
Wait a minute, Rosa, no, I've never said that. Rosa, I have never said. Where do you get this nonsense from?
I don't know how he feels about homosexuals, but I know how God felt about them because he put it in his print. He said they should be put to death.
But you're reading Old Testament, and it is.
Yeah, I'm reading the Old Testament.
But dang it, it's no different. Homosexuality, the sin of homosexuality is no different than cheating on your taxes. And as Christians, we can't treat these people any different. We can't outcast them. We've got to love them just like we love everyone else. Christ came for them, not for people that weren't sinning. And, brother, you don't sin any less than a homosexual.
Danny, you want to respond? Rosa, thank you very much for the call. Let Rosa.
Yeah, the Bible means just exactly what it says, whether it's Old Testament or New Testament. The New Testament was wrote from the Old Testament. Every preacher I've ever seen teach from the Old Testament. The Old Testament, Jesus said, I didn't come to destroy the law, but to fulfill the Old Testament.
All right, Danny. David is in Roswell. You're on the air with Danny Carver of the Georgia Ku Klux Klan.
Hey, Dave. How you doing?
Good.
I just wanted to make a comment about the gentleman saying that this was our God-given land. I think it's important to remember that, we stole this land from someone. This is not our God-given land, and those people don't belong here any more than anybody else.
We didn't steal nothing. God gave us the land that flows with milk and honey. He saw to it that we got here. Who do you think we stole it from? The buffaloes?
No, the Native Americans.
And they stole it from the buffaloes.
Oh, I see. So we were justified in that.
And now we stole it from the Indians and we're giving it to the Africans.
Okay, all right. Listen, the problem with you is that even
the problem with me is my children ain't safe in school anymore. Back when I went to school, it was all white, and the biggest problem we ever had was people chewing gum. Now we've had principals that was stabbed to death by 13-year-olds.
Problem we had? We had a problem with people like you hanging black people.
People like me have never hung a black person.
Are you saying the KKK didn't used to hang black people?
They used to hang white people.
All right, so you don't think that was a problem?
100 years ago, and at that time, it was the thing to do.
So that's okay?
That's right. At that time, it was the right thing to do.
You're an ignorant white man.
That's right. And one time God spread open the sea and let his people cross and closed it on the other people because at that time that was the thing to do.
I see. Okay.
God destroyed this earth more than once.
9:52. More with Danny Carver. More of your calls next.
Dave Stone. 404-367 WGST.
Invective from Quanell X, who's a member of the Black Muslim movement. He was on in Combs last night, squaring off against Michael Lowe in Waco, Texas, of the Texas Ku Klux Klan. We are joined by Mr. Danny Carver, who's a member of the Georgia Klan, and we're taking phone calls from you in response to him. Now, the Klan is planning on marching to promote white pride in Jasper, Texas this weekend. And, of course, everyone remembers Jasper, Texas as the recent scene of the horrific murder of a black man, James Byrd Jr., by 3 white men, allegedly by 3 white men, 2 of whom had ties to white supremacist organizations. Marty is in Marietta. Marty, thank you for calling. You're on the air with Danny Carver. Go ahead, sir.
Danny, how you doing?
They're pretty good. Your neighbor J.B. Stoner, ain't you?
Well, we're doing all right. We support you. I think you're saying now you're going to Jasper, right? How do you feel about the Muslims showing up there?
I think they ought to stay away from us. We don't go and interfere when they have marches, and they should leave us alone and let us make ours be peaceful.
Okay. So I was watching Howard Stern one day, and they come on there preaching. I was checking them out, and they kind of scary looking, man. Why would they even bring guns if they ain't going to be loaded?
Well, they're terrorists. I mean, they're the most savage and violent animal in this world.
I don't know if that's necessarily true. Look, I don't condone...
Well, why so many of them in prison? 80% of our prison population is populated by the black race.
All right, now why do you think that is?
Why?
Yeah.
Well, facts speak for themselves because they commit the crime.
Okay, what does that got to do with now? Now, I'm not supporting the black Muslims showing up. They have no business going there to respond to ignorance. And
why don't they wait a week later and go?
Exactly. Let them go a week later. I don't know why they're responding. I don't think you should be there either. I don't think there's any point in anyone going to Jasper, Texas. What are you going to accomplish?
Well, our forefathers thought we should have these protests, or they wouldn't have gave us the right in the Constitution.
I don't think that this is exactly what they had in mind.
No, you think that they put it in the Constitution that we have a right to free speech so we can stand up and say, we love Bill Clinton, or we love America? The free speech is put in there to protect unpopular speech.
Danny, I'm not arguing the First Amendment. I'm not arguing free speech. I am talking about decency, and I don't think it's decent to go to Jasper.
The decency is the Klan is going to show up to say we didn't do it.
That's
we did
fine.
not
and
do it.
They could have made an announcement.
But then it wouldn't have made news,
yes,
and no one would have heard it.
Yes, it
if
would.
If a tree falls in the woods, does it make any sound?
They would have heard it. They could have made an announcement. Believe me, it would have been reported. Let's go to
Williams. It wouldn't.
Williams in the car.
Have you made any news about this black down in Louisiana that claims he was dragged a week later?
Yes, sir. We talked about it, and we also talked yesterday about the fact that he was shown to be a liar.
No,
All right, go ahead, William. You're in the car. Go ahead. You're on the air with Danny.
Yes. I believe if people get on the air and try to spout statistics, they should have the right one. Blacks aren't the only people on welfare. To talk about his earlier point, 75% of the people on welfare are white. And I'm a black conservative, and I'm tired of paying for it. Thank you.
All right, I appreciate your call. Let me grab Sal. Sal is in the car in Buckhead. Sal, you're on the air with Danny Carver of the Georgia Klan.
Yeah, the only few things I think that the information needs to get spread that Clarence Thomas, affirmative action wasn't around when Clarence Thomas went to school, to law school and stuff. He beat out white people with his scores because affirmative action wasn't even around then. And the other thing is affirmative action did lower standards, because when I was in college a little less than 20 years ago, and was studying radio and television broadcasting, they dropped the requirements for the FCC license because they said that too many blacks were failing the third-class license test, and that's part of that's what happens through a lot of fire departments and police departments and everything throughout the country. The blacks were not passing the requirement test. And so just as recently as Massachusetts passing their teachers, lowering the standards for their teachers so more teachers pass their tests, their standards weren't lowered as a result of affirmative action, and that's been proven, and I don't care how many people get offended by it, that's the fact.
All right, Sal, thank you very much.
The fact is, if the government didn't force white people to accept blacks, they wouldn't even be allowed to go in a cafe today and get them a bite to eat. The white people do not want to be around them. The government is forcing us to let them in.
No one's forcing me to be around black people.
They are forcing us to accept them.
What do you mean accept
anytime,
them? Anytime
a cafe mistreats one or don't wait on one of them in time, they get sued.
That is not, first of all, those cases make headlines. That is not the general case. Danny, stay with us. More on the way. 9:59.
Dave Stone. Call now, 404-367-WGST.
Time right now is 10 o'clock.
Driving down the road, I heard some references to Scripture in the Bible that kind of got me going. 2 quick points. I'm not going to quote any certain Scripture. Basically, from my reading, the Old Testament is where a lot of bad doctrine comes from. We're in a new covenant, in a New Testament with better promises. That's point 1. Point 2 would be that under the Old Covenant, unless you were of God's chosen people, whether you were black, white, Hispanic, or whatever, you were not going to heaven. You didn't get into the promise. And now I'm off my soapbox.
All right, what does that got to do with the Klan?
We are God's chosen people. The white race is God's chosen people. And the Old Testament is Jesus said, I didn't come to destroy the law, but to fulfill. So the Old Testament is as good today as it's ever been.
Where does it say in the Bible that white people are God's chosen people, sir?
Well, we just know that.
Oh, you just know that?
Yeah.
Or you just made that up?
Well, why are we so superior?
Well,
so
we're not superior, sir. Do you realize that the separation of blood plasma? Do you realize that was created by a black man? Do you know how many lives of white people have been saved because of blood transfusions, which are the work of a black man?
The black man stayed in Africa for hundreds hundreds and thousands of years and never even invented a wheel.
You don't want
They stood there and looked at the ocean and never invented a boat.
Danny,
they never invented a weapon
you do yourself
worthy of using past the moment of its use.
With rhetoric like this,
they had diamonds squishing up between their toes and never even picked one of them up until a white man went over and showed them its glitter.
All right, Bill is in Toco Hills. He agrees with Danny. Go ahead, Bill.
Hey, Mr. Carver, how are you this morning?
Hey, pretty good.
We're glad and we're supporting you. They talk about these misguided fools called the Klan a hate group. Well, why don't they listen to Louis Farrakhan for more than 30 seconds if they want to know what real hate is?
I hate, Bill. You know, Louis Farrakhan is full of hate. I've said that many times. But I don't think two hate groups help one another either.
Well, let me ask Mr. Carver this. How did the rally go over in Fort Payne, Alabama a few weeks ago?
It was great. The Alabama State Police kept all the blacks over in the project. We didn't have any trouble. We done our speeches and we left with no trouble at all.
That's good. Talk to you later.
All right, thank you, Bill. I appreciate Jeff.
Louis Farrakhan, who's the leader of these Muslims, in 1995, I believe it was, he predicted a race war, and within 2 years, or he predicted it would take place by 1995, and that's what the Muslims are doing. They're trying to get a race war going. And that's why they show up at our events causing trouble.
Hey, I'm the first one to say they have no business being there. I just don't think the Klan does itself any service by showing up in Jasper, where feelings are still so hot in the wake of what happened to James Byrd. Jeff is in the car in Kennesaw. Go ahead, Jeff.
Thank you, Dave, for taking my call. I want you to make a brief comment, and then I'll get off and listen to you. This is really for you, Dave. You made reference earlier to how the town up in Tennessee handled the Klan during one of the marches, and how the town out in Texas should handle, this weekend. But talk is cheap. How are you handling it? You're allowing this man in Georgia to benefit from that man's death in Tennessee.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm simply saying this is a news story, and we are getting response to the news story. We're also allowing you to say what you want to say about it. I don't think that either group should be there. This is a legitimate news story, and it could, I say God forbid, could result in a bad situation in Jasper, Texas. I just believe that the people in Jasper, Texas should be left alone.
That's right. Look what happened just because Rodney King got a whooping. Anything could happen if he puts the two groups together.
Well, I agree, and what you're allowing is a bad situation to get the rest of the nation, set up, and you're allowing, people here in Georgia right now to get angry, at this man by allowing him, time on your show, just so that y'all can, benefit, the station can benefit.
Yeah, Jeff, all right, we're doing it for self.
If there's any violence there, it will not come from the Klan. There's never been a Klan march turned violent unless they were attacked. And then they attack the police because the Klan always gets escorted away. And then the blacks attack the police officers. They turn over police cars. They start busting store windows. It's not the Klan. The Klan is nonviolent.
All right, Joyce and Wendell and Joanna and Dave and Ron standing by with Danny Carver, the Klan. Stay put.
Dave Stone. 404-367 WGST.
Noon to 3 this afternoon.
Muhammad, that the black man is the original man, the Asiatic black man, and that the black man is a chosen man by God.
And the white man is of the devil? And the white man is of the devil?
And we're taught by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad that the white man is not a devil, he is the devil.
Well, let's look at it like this. There's something wrong in America. Okay, when the Vietnamese, who are Asian, when they come to America, within 5 years, they own their own business. Their children excel in school, graduate, going to college. But for some reason, the African Americans, they can't do anything.
Okay, now I'm pissed.
You don't mind if I call you buddy, do you? Okay, buddy, thanks.
The ladies' man does not want any more calls like that, okay? Because those calls, they disturb the ladies' man, okay? Thank you very much.
Dave Stone on News Radio WGST.
All right, 10:16. We're joined by Danny Carver of the Georgia Klan. The Knights of the Ku Klux Klan are planning on marching in Jasper, Texas this weekend. They claim it's to promote white pride and to deny any involvement in the murder several weeks ago of James Byrd Jr. However, there is a problem lurking. Not only is the Klan planning on being there in Jasper, but the Black Muslim movement and the New Black Panthers are going to show up. And according to a representative by the name of Quanell X of the Black Muslim movement, The black Muslims will show up armed, although they will not admit that their weapons will be loaded. But they plan on showing up in Jasper armed this weekend. Joyce is in the car in Kennesaw. You're on the air with Danny Carver of the Klan. Joyce, your question or comment for him. Go ahead.
Thank you, Dave. I would just like to say that I disagree with both groups being there. Neither one is there to promote harmony or anything else. They're there because they hate one another. And Mr. Carver, I would like you to allow me to say what I'm going to have to say. The history of the Klan is nothing but hatred and murder and the hate of not just black people, but any kind of people that are different from you. You cannot deny that you have burnt the homes of black people who tried to make themselves successful and to try to survive after they were released from slavery. You hung them, you murdered their families, you destroyed their homes. You have done nothing. Your history is of hate. You cannot deny that the KKK has a history of hate. That is what the group is founded on. They hate anybody that's different from them. They distort the Word of God to try to promote their means. I can't even say anything but that you are hate. You are hate. You are hate in the worst possible sense because you hate anybody that's different from you. That is what you were founded on. You were founded to oppress people that were different from you, to try to make yourself superior. And if you deny that, you are lying about who you are, and you should leave the Klan. You should not even be in the Klan. If you can sit there and say that you are not a group of hate, that you have never murdered, and if you are afraid to send your children...
You keep saying I ain't never killed nobody. I ain't never mistreated a nigger. I'm just saying that they are not equal to us.
I beg your pardon, you said you never mistreated who?
I've never, I guess you want me to call them Afro-Americans.
Well, no, I wouldn't.
By any other name is still a rose.
I would prefer you did not.
I've never mistreated an African.
I would prefer you did not on our...
Yeah, I've never mistreated an African. I've never laid a hand on one of them. And I can't be held responsible or accountable for something my ancestors may have done 100 years ago.
You are responsible for that yourself by being a member of the Klan. And
if a Klansman does commit an act of violence today, it's not the policy of the Klan. What if a Republican goes out and does it? You don't condemn the whole Republican Party. It's not the policy of the Klan to commit violent acts. We're a love group. We love our own race. We want our race to have
All right, I'll tell you what, Joyce.
That's what we want now. We want equal rights. We don't even have equal rights.
Joyce, thank you for the call. Let me ask you. You said a moment ago, Danny, something about we love our own race. Define your own race.
Our race is we're white, Aryan white.
Aryan white what?
White people.
All right.
We were created in the image of God. We are the chosen race.
All right. What about Jewish white people?
Jews are the devil. The Bible tells you that. I've referred to the Bible many times. And in the book of John, Jesus told the Jews, you are of your father the devil. The Jews were the devil.
So the Jews are the devil too, right?
Not two. Blacks are not the devil.
All right, what are the blacks?
They're the beast of the field.
Danny, you know what? Again, Danny, look. If you want to say what you want to say about whites being put in an uncompromised position or in a bad position by affirmative action, I'll be the first to agree with you. But you do yourself a disservice by making inflammatory
statements. By quoting the Bible word for word, because nobody wants to believe what it says.
No, I'll tell you what. The problem with the Bible is you've got people.
The problem with the Bible is people don't believe it anymore.
No. The problem with the Bible is people taking the Bible and twisting the words around to benefit themselves. All right, let me grab Wendell in Decatur. Wendell, go ahead. You're on the air with Danny Carver.
Hi. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Stone and Mr. Carver. I respect you, Mr. Stone, Mr. Carver. I respect what you're representing. First of all, I want to start my comment by saying my name is Wendell Muhammad. I'm a director of public relations for Minister of Farrakhan Nation of Islam here in Atlanta in the southern region. I want to start by saying there is no such thing as a black Muslim movement, black Muslim as you call it. Whoever those are men out there in Jasper, Texas, has nothing to do with Minister Farrakhan nor the Nation of Islam. Number one, we carry no weapons. Number two, Minister Farrakhan is not a purveyor of hate. We have over 60-some-odd-year history in America. All we've done is do good in our community, trying to clean up our people.
All right, when Khalid Muhammad...
that ain't the speech I heard him talking to with Michael Lowe a while ago. He said he was going to show up and he was going to...
I'm just clearing it up. See, they call themselves the new Black Panthers. That is not...
No, this gentleman, Quanell X, said that he was a member of the Black Muslim movement.
That must be something that somebody made up.
Somebody made it up?
Somebody can't coin a phrase and put a name on that. But what I really want to say mostly is that the Klan historically it really represents a small group. I think it's there's a Klan mentality that permeates the whole of America. You see, from the U.S. government to the police agency to the prisons to the job agency to housing to redliners, the whole country really has that kind of a mentality. So a little small group of people really don't represent nothing, because historically they have really never been our worst opponents. It's been because the government destroyed the civil rights movement, killed Dr. King all down the line.
The government killed Dr. King?
Oh, that's already written for us.
Oh, it is?
The policies for us, the government spied on all organizations, destroyed all our black leaders. So my biggest thing I'm saying again is there's no such thing as Muslims and Minister Farrakhan has nothing to do with this group, whoever they are, because we don't have a history of that. All of you know our history, know what he represents, what we represent. But the bottom line again is, well, I find most whites in this country that I find from, I'm 40 years old and I've been in the South all my life, I find that most whites think like he thinks. So and you get upset when somebody like this talk, because they really expose, either you come almost like come in touch with some kind of hidden feelings you have deep down. And
I know most white people agree with me, but they're cowards. They're cowards to admit it, but most white people are racist.
Don't think so, Danny. Thanks very much. Hold on there. We've got Joanna coming up, and also Dave in Smyrna, Ron, Michael, and Mario.
Dave Stone. Call now, 404-367-WGST.
When was the last time, no matter your score, you made money from a golf tournament? You will now. Come to Heritage
Plan. Joanna, go ahead.
Yes, good morning. First of all, I just want to say Danny shouldn't get us upset. We need to feel sorry, because most likely they have not traveled. And I would suggest doing some traveling around the world, and see if, the mentality changes, because people that travel don't think like that.
Danny, you don't travel enough, sir.
Well, I've been around the world. I went into the Army when I was 17, and I went to Vietnam and done a little traveling in the Army, but I don't know what that changes. I can see everything there is right here.
Well, I think you gather more exposure if you travel around the world. That was, I think, her point. Dave is in Smyrna. Go ahead, sir. You're on the air with Danny Carver of the Klan.
Thank you, sir. I'm from Africa, and I'm happy to have the privilege. First of all, Danny, remember, to convince a fool, it is better to agree with a fool. Now, you are very right that in the 1800s, the quote white superior race shipped niggers or black people back to Africa. And we are the ancestors and generation of these Africans. And we decided to pay our way with airplanes and come back to the white superior race faster than it took them to send our forefathers. And why did we do that? We're doing that because all of our raw material has been sent back to us at a higher price. Bear that in mind. Now, National Geographic showed you that we, the Africans, jump from tree to tree and live in tree. But the white superior race forgot that President Carter and President Clinton, he was just in Africa. And normally, like in Washington, the White House is grand, is big. So in Africa, the president lives in tall trees. So President Carter and President Clinton had to learn how to jump from a tall tree to another tall tree.
Dave, what has this got to do with the
I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I don't know.
South Africa's been developed, but it was developed by a white man.
All right, Dave, you're going nowhere. You're going nowhere, Dave. Thanks very much. Michael is.
I don't even know what he was saying.
Yeah, nor do I. Michael, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, the KKK, or some information about membership.
You want to join, Michael?
My address is Post Office Box 446, Oakwood, Georgia 30566, and I'll send you information.
Michael, you gave out the number. You can. I'll tell you what. Here's what we'll do, Danny. Let's give you the number again, just in case there's anybody else who wants to hear it. All right, go ahead.
Okay, it's Post Office Box 446, Oakwood, Georgia 30566. And I also sell Klan souvenirs for $3. I'll send you a list of
what's a Klan souvenir?
Well, I sell T-shirts, hat pins, Klan jewelry, books, And there's a catalog that's over 50 pages long.
I'll tell you what, I don't see a lot of people wearing that stuff.
I've got a catalog of over 50 pages, and for $3, I'll send you a copy of it, and you can buy you some of it.
All right,
you don't see many people wearing it because it's unsafe in this country to be white and proud.
No, it's
you
not.
see plenty of people wearing an X on their shirt.
I don't have to wear insignia to prove
You've seen a lot of people wearing an X, but Michael Westerman in Tennessee was murdered.
Gotta go. Stay where you are. We'll get more from Danny Carver, more of the Klan, and more of your calls.
Well, according to the Bible, sir, Jesus has hair of wool and skin of bronze. I'd like your comments on that.
I beg your pardon. Would you repeat that, please?
Jesus has hair of wool and skin of bronze, according to the Bible.
I don't know what he had, and nobody never seen him.
But you believe in the Bible, sir?
The Bible says kind after kind.
The Bible says Jesus has hair of wool and skin of...
Hair of wool. Well, I guess George Washington had hair of wool.
What has this got to do with anything, Scott, Mario?
Well, what it does is, to me, it brings up the point that Jesus...
George Washington had hair of wool.
That Jesus quite possibly was an African American.
It didn't say it was kinky and looked like steel
was
wool.
An African American.
It didn't say Jesus' hair had the hair of a Brillo pad.
Hair of wool and skin of bronze.
Wool don't have kinky hair. It's wavy. It's white and wavy.
I just challenge you to
This is utter nonsense. Thanks very much for the call. Scott, go ahead. You're in Marietta. You're on the air with Danny Carver. Go ahead.
Hey, Dave. How you doing?
Good.
Daniel, I had one question. You, as the caller previous to me, had determined that you are a Christian. You believe in Jesus Christ.
Right, I am.
Okay.
And I do.
Previous in your statement, you had said that all Jews were the devil.
That's right.
Okay, well, Jesus was Jewish.
No, he was not.
He was not.
No.
He wasn't?
No.
Oh, what was he then?
What was he? Well, Jesus was at the well once, and a woman came up to him and told...
I can't believe this.
And said,
great stuff.
Drink water.
Jesus was a Jewish carpenter.
No. Jesus told this lady. She said, why do you, a Jew, ask me water? And Jesus told her, he said, if you knew me, you would know that I am not of this world. He denied being a Jew and told her that he was not of this world. Jesus was not a Jew. He told the Jews they were of their father, the devil.
I can't agree with that. But
I don't know where you find that. According to the Bible, according to the Old Testament,
nowhere does the Bible say Jesus was a Jew.
What do you mean that Jesus wasn't a Jew? Jesus was a Jew.
Me and my wife were to visit Africa, and my wife got pregnant by me while we were in Africa. Would my baby be an Afro-American? African? Would it be black?
Danny,
would it have kinky hair?
Danny, you see what you do, Danny? What you're doing here, if you want people to...
I'm telling you, no matter where you're born, you still are of your father.
Danny, what you do is you discredit yourself by making statements. You have bastardized the Bible. You have made all kinds of statements about this being an ideal land if everybody was out except white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. What you're doing is you're doing yourself a tremendous disservice
Iceland's all
here.
white, but Iceland doesn't have crime.
So why do we have crime? I'll tell you what, there are more white people on death row than blacks.
Why did L.A. burn down?
There are more white people on death row than blacks. Are you aware of that? There are more white people in prison than blacks.
Well, they ought to be. I mean, we make up 90% of the population, and they make up 10.
Why don't we get rid of white people then? They commit more crimes than black people. There are more than...
I don't agree with that. I say 80% of all violent crime is committed by the blacks.
Perry is in the car, 20 eastbound. Go ahead.
Hi, Dave. Thanks for the time.
You bet.
Basically, I don't know where these gentlemen are getting their facts. If you study the Bible from page 1...
This is amazing stuff.
The Lord stated that Adam and Eve started as singular, and that we all were derived from them, making us all one people. Race doesn't really enter into it. If you want to be a true Christian...
the Bible was wrote for white people.
Excuse me, if you will, just let me finish, okay? Let me get my...
Well, say it right then. If you're going to say something, tell the truth.
Well, sir, speaking of truth...
Adam and Eve were the only two people.
I haven't actually heard you quote Scripture yet.
Well, it says kind after kind 10 times on the first page.
All right, so where did black people come from then? If they weren't...
I told you, black people were in the Bible. They were the beast of the field. The Bible talks about beasts that had hands, beasts that wore sackcloth, the beast that woman should not lay down with.
Let's look at the Tower of Babel. The Lord dispersed the entire community of the world at the Tower of Babel because of the way
because he wanted us separate.
People of the world were getting along.
He separated people.
All right, thank you, Perry. I appreciate the call. Enough of the look. Yeah. I've got Charles in Atlanta and Janet and Steve and Mike and Beverly all standing by to talk with Danny. Danny, please hold for a couple more minutes. We'll be back to you. 10:42.
Dave Stone. Call now. 404-367-WGST.
They want us there because they want help, because they know without us coming, someone will not stand up and speak the truth.
We have definitive proof that this tragedy was caused by Godzilla.
We just heard from Quanell X, who claims to be a member of the Black Muslim movement. They plan on showing up in Jasper, Texas this weekend alongside the Klan, the Ku Klux Klan, which claims that it is going to have a day to promote white pride in Jasper, Texas. Jasper, Texas, of course, the scene of the murder several weeks back of James Byrd, Jr. Charles is in Atlanta. You're on the air with Danny Carver of the Georgia Klan. Go ahead, Charles.
Morning, guys. Okay, Danny, got a couple of things for you. First of all, you said you wanted America only for Americans.
Right.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is you're intending to turn this land over to the Indians, right?
No, I'm talking about Americans, not Native
Americans.
Native Indians. Indians were savages.
Oh, Danny, come on.
First of all, well, that's just one point. Second of all, you said
it's comic relief here. Go ahead.
Okay, second of all, you mentioned Iceland and said that the crimes were committed by blacks. When Iceland was mentioned, it says, well, they have no crime, right? That's what you said, right?
Yeah, Iceland has no crime.
Okay, then why do they have a police force?
Why? I guess to help little old ladies cross the street.
No, police forces are developed only because there is crime. Now, Danny,
No, the policemen do a lot of stuff besides fight crime.
No, they're law enforcement. Law enforcement is used to protect against crime. It is clear that all you want to do is just regurgitate all of the rhetoric you've been spewing that hasn't changed since the Civil War. So actually, you need to just get out, okay? Leave the little small town, get on a plane, go someplace, and then come back. Your worldview will change.
Well, the white people left Atlanta to get away from you, and we moved to Gainesville. Now I've left Gainesville, moved up in the mountains. When am I going to start moving to get away from you? Why can't I have my little neighborhood that's all white if that's what I want?
How are you going to have an all-white neighborhood, sir?
That's what I say. Why? Because the government won't let us, but that's what we want. If we want to be separate, why can't we be separate? Why is it so bad for me to want my children to go to school with other white children? What's so wrong with that? I don't care if you have an all-black school, so your children can go to school with all-black kids.
So you believe everybody should live in colonies? Would we be better off we have little colonies?
It would be safer because you can't have law and order and Afro-Americans too. It's not safe. Our schools have become jungles. We have drug dealers walking through the streets of our halls of our school. Principals have been killed with fingernail files right here in Bethlehem, Georgia. The schools are not safe. Our neighborhoods are not safe. We have drug dealers standing on every corner.
We do?
Sure.
I haven't seen any drug dealers standing on corners.
Well, you ain't been looking then.
No, believe me, I have. I haven't run into any drug dealers on any street corner ever. Janet is in Atlanta. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you this morning? I just have a couple of comments. I have no problems with the Klan marching in Texas. That's totally acceptable if that's what they want to do. Black people have had to deal with hatred, and all ethnic groups have had to deal with hatred and bigots for hundreds of years. My only thing is, if you're going to march, do it openly. Don't wear your hoods. Don't hide your faces. When the Muslims and the Black Panthers and other organizations come to march, they do it. They don't hide their faces. If you want to have the perfect country, then do like the underground militia does. Go on in the woods, educate your own children, and don't interact with the rest of society.
Janet, let me ask you a question. Do you think that the Black Muslim movement should respond to the Klan in Jasper?
I don't think that. I mean, what they're standing for at this point is that We were afraid of the Klan years ago, but we're not afraid of you now.
What is the point of them going to Jasper?
They're going there to make a stand just like the Klan is. They feel like they can walk wherever they want to walk, so can the Black Panthers.
All right, well, if they show up, don't you realize that if they show up, what they're going to be doing is they're going to be inviting the possibility of violence and bloodshed and gunfire, which needn't be there. Again, I don't understand the need of anybody to respond. I don't understand the Klan showing up, but I certainly also don't understand black Muslims showing up in response. They would do themselves.
I understand it as being we have had to deal with this hatred from this group for hundreds of years.
It is going
and
on
it is about time that we stand up and take a stance for what we believe in and what we believe is right. If they want to come and march when they know that there's already racial tension in that town, well then if that's what it takes and there's bloodshed, so be it. We're letting them know that it's time to fight back. We are not afraid of them. And to make a comment, you said that you see on National Geographic black people swinging from trees to trees. The last time I saw a show about Africa and people swinging from trees was Tarzan and Jane, and the last time I looked, they were white.
Well, look at National Geographic, and you'll see them swinging from trees.
Tarzan and Jane were swinging through the trees, and they were white. Okay? I've never seen a black person swing through a tree.
I just hope they have plenty of police officers there to protect the Klan.
You said that if there would be no crime with all white people. Jeffrey Dahmer, Charles Manson, Ted Bundy, they were white. How many serial killers in America are there that are black?
Down in Texas to protect the Klan from these blacks that are going down there and taking their weapons and threatening to attack the Klan. I hope they have plenty of policemen to protect us.
Well, I mean, you need to go out and protect yourself. You are going down there to march on a town that is already
We don't have the rights to protect ourselves.
Okay,
that would be going back to the Cowboys and Indians. We don't want to play Cowboys and Indians or Cowboys and Africans.
Any citizen has the right to bear arms.
We'll let the policemen do the protecting.
You have the right to bear arms.
When the blacks get out of control, we'll have police officers there that'll patrol.
We're going nowhere here, Janet. Thank you very much for the call. Danny, please hold on. We've got...
Calling from. I'm pretty neutral on all this stuff. I mean, I'm a Christian, and I guess both of you are right about, I guess, Jesus Christ being a Jew and non-Jew. I mean, he was a superior being, and then he took a form of a Jew, and then he was the superior being again, so. But, I mean, respect, I mean, everybody's part of the human race. That's my view. Everybody should respect each other and not kill each other. I mean, I know that, the blacks are in Africa, whites were in Europe, now they're over here, Indians. We all were separated for a while, and then I guess the whole reason was maybe, I mean, I don't know the answers, but after a certain period of time, well, then if you start recognizing and seeing people, we should be able to get along once we know that we're all out there. I mean, everybody's got their little...
Here, God said, I separate my people from all other people.
Yeah, all right. And
yeah, but we're all out there. I mean, why are we all out there? We're supposed to get along with each other, I guess. I mean, airplanes, transportation. Maybe we messed up things. I don't know.
Danny, when did the first Carvers arrive in this country? You weren't here from the beginning, right?
No, I'm 49 years old. That's long as I've been here.
No. I'm talking about your father and grandfather and.
I don't know. My grandfather come from North Carolina. After that, I don't know where they come from.
So you don't know where the first Carver? You think the first?
I would imagine in the beginning they come from Egypt because I think that's God brought His people out of the land of Egypt. So I guess that's where we originally come from. Unless you go back to Adam and Eve.
All right, Beverly is downtown. This is fascinating stuff. Beverly, go ahead. You're on the air with Danny Carver.
Dave, I cannot, just let me answer your first question is no, I don't think that the Muslims should go in march because you should not be aggravated by ignorance. And this man, I cannot believe that in all of the pride that the Klan claims to have, that they would allow an idiot like this to come on the radio and represent them. Where is your publicist?
They didn't allow me to. They can't control me.
Sir,
I'm a free man.
Please.
I speak when I want to speak.
I have never heard of such ignorance before in my life. You should live in a colony by yourself. with all of your other little ignorant friends. But God save your children. Please don't let them grow up like you. It's sad. It is really, really
It's too late.
sad.
They done did. They all growed up just like me. All my children are white, and the reason my children are white is because I practice and believe in racism, and that's the reason I'm white. The only reason anybody's white is because their parents believe and practice segregation.
You are ignorant. And
okay, I'm ignorant, but I'm white.
Your organization is not like you.
And you can't change that.
There has to be some people that
and the
have
only thing that's put any intelligence in a black person at all is race mixing.
All right.
Without race mixing, you'd still be as dumb as you were the day we brought you over here.
Beverly, thanks for the
we
call.
We brought blacks over here to be farm animals, and they're now obsolete. We don't need farm animals anymore. We have tractors.
All right, Ken is in Lawrenceville. He's going to help Danny interpret the Bible. Ken, let me ask you a question. Are you a minister, sir?
Yes.
All right, was Christ a Jew?
Yes.
All right.
It gives a long list of his descendants. It's in the first chapter of Matthew. It tells where his mother came from, and Jesus himself referred to himself as the son of David. Who do you think David is?
Jesus Christ said, I am not of this world.
He said, I am of... He even called himself the root of David. The long descendants of the Bible in Matthew chapter 1.
Let me give you a lesson. He said, give each according to his ability. And to one he gave 1 talent, and another 5, and another 10, each according to their ability.
You're
each according to their ability. And then when he came back, the one that had took the 1 talent and didn't invest it, he called him a name and took it away from him and gave it to the one that had the most.
Let me ask you this. Why
does that fit in with affirmative action, job quotas, welfare?
Let's go one at a time. Ken, go ahead. Ask a question of Danny, and Danny, you give a response. Go ahead.
Why was Jesus talking to that woman at the well? Why was she shocked that he was talking to her?
Well, she thought he was a Jew, but he denied it. He said...
Who was she?
I don't know who she was, but they could identify each other right off the bat, just like Jesus told that other woman that was pulling at his coattail. She was asking for Jesus to heal her daughter at home sick, and Jesus said, Lady, it is not meet to take the children's bread and cast it to dogs. I don't know why he called this lady a dog. If you're a minister, you might know, but he called this lady a dog.
Okay, this woman that he spoke to was from Samaria, okay, and they were crossbred people. That's the reason that she was so shocked that Jesus would even talk to them, because they were shunned by everybody else that day. But Jesus talked to them, even went so far as to use a Samaritan in one of his parables, talking about people that were crossbred between the races. That's the reason they were ostracized. But Jesus talked to them, clearly showing that this woman was capable of eternal life, because he said, I will give you water where you will never thirst again. He's talking about eternal life right there, so she's obviously capable of being saved.
Out of time, Ken. Thank you very much for the call and the comments. Danny, let me ask you a favor. Can you stay with us for a few more minutes?
Sure.
All right, 10:59. Don't go away.
Dave Stone. Call now, 404.
Atlanta Falcons. News Radio, WGST, Atlanta, Canton.
The E. coli scare makes an impact on Whitewater Park. I'm Michelle Meeks.
Atlanta police working a new accident at Lakewood Freeway. I'm Doug Hayden.
Excessive heat and humidity continues. Heat advisories in effect through Friday. I'm Brent Bass.
News Radio WGST.
640 AM.
105.7 FM. 11 o'clock, good morning. I'm Paul Mann. The latest on the E. coli coming up in just a few minutes. But first, breaking news from the Supreme Court. The High Court has struck down the president's line item veto power in a 6-3 decision. The court says the law violates the constitutional requirement that every bill go before the president for approval or a veto. The court says that does not allow partial vetoes. A defeat for Whitewater prosecutor Ken Starr. The Supreme Court also ruling that attorney-client privilege survives a client's death. The 6-3 vote means Starr cannot get notes from the lawyer. To the E. coli outbreak, up to 20 potential cases here in Georgia now, and new rules at the source of the contamination for some of those cases, Whitewater Park.
The park will no longer admit groups of kids under the age of 4 from daycare centers or summer camps, and all children in the kiddie pools must now wear plastic pants. Speaking on the Jeff Hollinger Show, Whitewater spokeswoman Dee Dee Dowdle says the E. coli outbreak has impacted the park.
You're on the air with we have a lot of people who want to take issue with Danny, and there are some who want to support him, but we're just going to put everybody on the lines and let them say what they want to say. Mike, you're in Marietta. You're on the air with Danny Carver.
Yes, Danny, how you doing?
Pretty good.
I'm a 28-year-old white male in the Marine Corps, and I heard you mention earlier that you were in the Army during Vietnam.
That's right.
Well, in the Marine Corps, they teach us that we're a band of brothers. We stick together, and that black Marine or that Hispanic Marine
Yeah,
may
they
be
done the
standing
same
behind
thing in
you
the
and
Army.
protecting your butt. I just wondered, I mean, you enjoy the freedom you have because of black, white, and Hispanic, and Jewish, and men of honor. I mean, people that work for a living.
Yeah, we had some German Shepherds in our Army too.
Well,
we had
that's
some
fine,
mules.
but a German Shepherd doesn't take orders as well as a Marine, and a Marine
They're pretty
can't.
good. They're
a German
more
Shepherd
faithful,
can't
though.
put a bullet between
They're
somebody's
more
eyes.
faithful. A lot of German Shepherds will give their life to defend their master.
Well, all I'm saying is if you were a productive working member of society, you wouldn't have time to go to rallies.
Yeah, I wouldn't have time to do nothing.
What do you do for a living, Danny?
I run a roofing company. I put on roofing.
Okay. Good enough. Thank you very much. Mike, your comments appreciated. Let's go to Harry in Norcross. You're on the air. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, hey, Dave. How you doing, Dave?
Good.
I just got to say, this guy is indicative of white males from the South.
Yeah, we all the same. That's what I said.
The people up north are right. You are just genetically inferior hillbilly.
But, hey, there's more Klan in Pennsylvania and New Jersey now than there is in Georgia.
There is a cure for you. It's called an education. I mean, really.
Yeah, well, education would be good if that system hadn't been destroyed. By mixing it up, they took prayer out and put blacks in.
They took what out and put?
They took the prayer out of schools and filled the schools full of blacks.
Yeah, they also teach English, and we have kids spending 12 years in public school,
they
Danny, and they come
English,
out
and most of the kids now up here in Gainesville speak Spanish.
They can't speak
so
any
it's
English
kind of
at all.
hard on our kids to go to school when the other school kids are speaking Spanish. Gainesville, Georgia has now got about 60,000 Mexicans living here.
Yeah,
and this guy is
and they're just like the blacks. They're draining the population here of all their finances to try to educate them and keep them up.
This is great stuff. Doug in College Park. Go ahead, Doug.
Hey, how's it going?
It all seems kind of funny, but it hurts too much to laugh. Huh?
Be quiet. Let me ask you a question here, Mr. Danny. What's the purpose for your march?
What's the purpose?
I'm going to tell you a story about our march.
Well, everybody's hollering the Klan killed this guy, James Byrd, and the Klan is going to stand up and say we didn't do it. We didn't have nothing to do with it.
So
we don't condone it. We don't want to kill them. We don't want to bring no harm to them. All we want them to do is go back to Africa and live in peace among their African brothers.
March, you condoning what you shouldn't be marching, first of all. I don't think nobody should march.
Exactly.
You don't think nobody should march?
Nobody should be in
Jose Williams should have went to Forsyth County either, do you?
For a march.
They had to bring out the National Guard to protect him, but he shouldn't even have been over there. I agree with that.
Sir, I went to college in Alabama. I've been here about 4 years. I was in that march with Jose Williams and all up there in Forsyth County.
Yeah. Y'all had a right to be there, but we don't have a right in Texas.
Sir, to be honest with you, I did a documentary on that when I was in college. Took pictures, wrote a story. It was purposeless. I mean, I can understand we went up there and tore up the damn town, but
you would have if we hadn't brought out the National Guard.
We walked through the town.
With the National Guard.
Sir, we walked through the town.
If you hadn't have had the National Guard, you would have tore the town up.
One at a Hold it. Doug, one at a time. Doug, you talk, and Danny respond. Doug, go ahead.
Okay, I'm next. I'm now. Okay, listen to me, Mr. Danny. We walked through the town quietly. Everybody just armly, and we walked into the downtown Forsyth County and courthouse or whatever. We heard Miss King do a speech or whatever, and then we was trying to hurry up and get our butts out of there because it was something about a bomb was about to go off and all this crazy. We did not. I don't think it was a purpose served. To go up there is not going to change anything. Those people come out of their houses with their kids, 9 to 10 years old, 5 years old, with dunce hats on and the Klan uniforms on. It does not serve a purpose.
All right, Doug, you've had your say, and I agree with you. There is no purpose for either group marching in Jasper this weekend. No one's trying to deny anyone their First Amendment rights, but no useful purpose will be served by either group marching. However, it appears that both groups will. Dan is in Ackworth. Jack?
Mirko Dixon on News Radio WGST. 1-800-VANGUARD. Flight and
Klan, that we're coming, and we're not coming to lighten up, we're coming to tighten up. We're organizing saints, soldiers, scholars, healers, dealers, and killers that will come to let our people know in Jasper, Texas, black brothers and sisters, that you do not stand alone, that we're here to stand with you, and if the Klan get out of line, we're also here to help defend you and protect our people.
We can't let the white man tell us how to sell to our market. You know what I'm saying? White Freesh?
The white man, no good.
Look, I am a white man. That's not the issue here. But what I'm trying to tell you guys is either you do it our way or we don't do it at all. Are we cool on this, brothers?
Nah, I don't feel too cool at all, man. I'm feeling kind of cocky. We're going to have to talk to you, brother.
Starts to hurt after a while.
Dave Stone on News Radio WGST.
All right, 11:17. Thank you for joining us. Rapidly running out of time. By the way, the free lunch on WGST, beginning momentarily at the Piedmont Health and Fitness Club across the street from Piedmont Hospital on Peachtree Road in trendy Lower Buckhead. The Kimmer is there right now. Hollinger is there. I will be there shortly. Drop by. Free lunch. You get a chance to meet WGST personalities, sales weasel ferret goddesses, and WGST sponsors, all showing off their wares at the Piedmont Health and Fitness Club across the street from Piedmont Hospital this hour. 11:17, we're joined on the telephone by Danny Carver of the Georgia Klan and by a full bank of callers. Dan is in Ackworth. He says that Danny is so wrong. Dan, go ahead.
Dave, just two or three things. I know you're out of time, but we trace our lineage to Adam. The Hebrew word for Adam actually means red, not white. Secondly, concerning Jesus being Jewish, the gentleman's already pointed out that Jesus was called the son of David. Besides that, in the book of Matthew, Jesus' lineage goes back to Abraham, who's the father of the Jews. Thirdly, Jesus, on the 8th day of his life, went to a Jewish temple and was circumcised because he was Jewish. So there's no doubt you can, espouse racism if you want to, but just don't use the Bible to try to defend your position. It's just not there. I think Danny's having trouble to understand that Jesus was human and he was also divine. He was not of this world because that speaks of his divinity. Humanly, he was Jewish without a doubt. And one other thing I'll say, and I'll let you go, and that is, I think the Klan and the black Muslim essentially have the same agenda of trying to get press, etc. And I've always wondered, if these guys hate each other so much, why don't they just get a venue somewhere out in the desert and have it out and leave the rest of us alone?
Dan, good point.
It ain't just the black Muslims. There's thousands of organizations working for the interest of blacks, but y'all can't accept the fact that one group wants to stand up and try to help white people organize.
We don't need any help.
You don't need any help. You're sure you need help, and you need it worse than you think. You may not need it as bad as your children need it, but your children really need somebody to talk to them because you don't know. You don't know the truth.
Well, I tell you what, I have probably 7 or 8 years post-high school. I just wondered if you even graduated high school.
No, I didn't. I didn't even graduate high school. But all my children are white, and all my grandchildren are white. Can you say the same thing?
Oh, I can say the same thing. I have
then you're a racist too. Then you're a racist too. You proud of your white grandchildren?
Dan, thanks for the call. Charles in Sugar Hill. Go ahead, Charles. A badge of honor, and everybody in your family is white. Go ahead, Charles.
That's right. That is something to be proud of.
Well, the reason I called, first-time caller here, Dave. I wish I could say I agree with you more on more of your topics, but that's for another time. I've been listening to this morning's show, and Danny, you've done a real good job, in my mind, of representing what you stand for. You're being truthful. You're telling people how you believe.
That's right. That's what I am, truthful. And nobody wants to accept it, but all white people agree with me in private. Now, they won't come out, and you probably ain't neither going to agree with me, but in private you would.
Charles, I'm a white person. Pardon me, Danny, I'm a white person. I don't agree with you at all here.
I don't agree with the premise of the KKK. I don't believe in any race being superior to any other race. But what I wanted to point out was I've been listening to today's show, and every single caller, just about, not 100%, but just about everyone, has called in and espoused nothing but hate. Since I've been on hold, I've heard you been called genetically inferior, ignorant. This guy's sick.
Charles, thanks for the call. Bubba is in Decatur. You say the guest's method
Anybody
is
starts to
questionable.
agree with me, they get cut off in a hurry.
No. Go ahead.
Okay. What's going on, Dave? What's going on, Danny?
Not much.
Danny, I just want to say that I applaud your courage for standing up and speaking out for the white people. We need people to do that. But let's not muddy the waters with extraneous issues. Let's not get religion
Well, you have to reach past them so some of it will stay with them.
Okay, I just want to remind you that the original Imperial Wizard, General Nathan Bedford Forrest, he didn't put the religion into it. It was simply to defend the white Southerners during Reconstruction.
Well, when it was first started, it was just a little social gathering anyway.
You're talking about Pulaski, Tennessee, but Nathan Bedford Forrest organized it. He made it much bigger. I'm just saying, let's stick to the issue. We have a right to promote our culture and whatnot, but let's not get extraneous things into it. And also, you could be a little bit more articulate. Study up on your grammar and broaden your reading a little bit. But
If you get too smart to be like Bill Wilson, they won't let you go on radio. So you got to sound like they want you to sound, or they won't put you on.
That's not true at all.
Don't play their game, Danny.
Yeah,
you got to play. All the time, Dave.
You got to play on their ball field, or they won't let you play.
Danny, let me ask you a question. Bubba, thanks very much for the call.
Right.
Danny, when was the last time you marched with a white sheet and a hood?
It was a couple of weeks ago in Fort Payne, Alabama.
When was the last time you burned a cross?
I ain't never burned a cross. We light the cross to signify that Christ is the light of the world and that his light destroys darkness.
Have you ever planted a cross in anyone else's yard?
Not without their permission, no, sir. We don't do that.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Jack is in the car in South Atlanta. I'll tell you what, Jack, got to put you on hold. We'll get back to you momentarily. I've also got Hilda, Brandon, and Jennifer. Actually, Jennifer will be next, followed. Has been highly instructive. Highly instructive. I think everyone has learned a great deal this morning. Jennifer is in Marietta. It's all how you use it. But Jennifer, go ahead. You're on the air with Danny Carver. Go ahead. Jennifer, hello.
Hello.
Jennifer, go ahead. I'm sorry. Jennifer, you there? We lost Jennifer.
She's done gone.
Pardon?
She's done gone.
She's done gone. She's there. All right, she's back. Jennifer, go ahead.
I'm a white American, very proud of who I am, but obviously I'm not proud to be next to someone like this, who seems to be educated in the backwoods. And your main problem is, Mr. Garber, all you do is talk, you don't listen. All the other callers have called in, tried to talk, and you interrupt them. So your main problem in life is all you do is talk. And you need to listen to other people's ideas, and you need to give it some thought, because obviously what you're thinking is very backwoods. And you mentioned earlier that blacks are the main problem with crime in this country. Well, all 5 of the school shootings were done by white children, not black. Thank you for your time, Dave.
All right, Danny, you want to respond? By the way, Danny, let me ask you a question.
She talks too fast. I can't hardly understand her.
All right, well, she was mentioning that the spate of school shootings in the past 15, 16 months.
There've been several of them. Those white people sure was.
Right. So
I don't know what's causing it, but I guess the same thing is causing so many white kids to turn to drugs. They mix them up in school and tell them they're all the same, and I guess if I thought I wasn't no better than an African, I'd go take some drugs too.
Let me ask you a question. You own a roofing business, right?
Right.
Do you limit your roofing business to whites only, or do you own...
No, that'd be illegal. I don't want to get sued, so every now and then we do roof a black person's house if they insist on it.
Do you espouse your views to them, or you just simply take their money?
In this town I live in, there's nobody that don't know me, so... some people just want a quality job, and they don't care who does it, and that's what we do, good quality work. You want an advertisement, I'll give you one.
That's what I'm responding to, thanks. Brandon is in Conyers. Brandon, you're on the air, go ahead.
How you doing? Danny, I just wanted to tell you I support you 100%, because, everybody looks down on me, too, just like you, because I support my own race 100%.
Why does everybody look down at you, Brandon?
They tell me I'm supposed to love everybody.
That isn't looking down at you.
The blacks are breaking into my cars. They're breaking into my houses. I don't need them.
Let me ask, Brandon, you've had your cars broken into in your home?
Why do you think all white people moved out of Atlanta?
Oh, I'm here. I'm 100% till the day I die.
You're what?
I'm 100% white, and I'm not. I will never trade.
All right, no one's asking you to trade, sir.
Oh, they're always asking me, love all of them. I don't have time for that. You know, they didn't love me when they were breaking into my cars, and they were selling drugs to everybody out here and killing everybody.
All right, they've killed friends of yours?
Yeah, they've done their little gang drive-bys, their little hoodlums, I mean, their rats and everything else out here.
Okay, that sounds very bright. Thank you, Brandon. Hilda is in the car on her way to Rome. Go ahead. Hilda, you're on the air, ma'am. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I'm married to a Hispanic male, and, I mean, if you take and you peel it, cut your skin,
Are you white?
peel it back. Yes, I am.
Well, you're committing racial genocide. Your children will be more prone to diseases. They'll be more likely to die from these diseases when they do get them.
There's diseases here in America. I mean, it's not just from other countries and stuff. You've got diseases here in America.
Any disease that a white person can get is, most of them are 4 or 5 times more likely to kill a black person, and there's lots of diseases that blacks get that whites can't even get. So you're committing genetic suicide. You're killing your own children.
Well,
if you would have married a white person and have white children, then your white children wouldn't be getting these diseases.
There's no telling if I got black blood in me or if I've got Hispanic blood in me, and all I can say is thank God that I had the blood. I would have died.
All right, Hilda.
Well, I'm glad you happy.
Hilda,
what color you are.
Hilda, thank you very much.
Have a nice day, then.
Hilda, thank you very much. Danny, we're almost out of time. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
You have the Klan showing up in Jasper this weekend, along with the Black Muslim movement. Do you think there will be any violence?
No, I don't think there'll be any violence. I think the police officers will be able to control it.
All right, so you're not expecting any violence. Are you planning on going?
I hadn't decided yet, but I just hope they... If they think there's a need to, they'll call out the National Guard. I'm sure they'll keep the blacks in line.
All right, Danny, thank you very much for joining us this morning. I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, 11:29, we're out of time. See you at the Piedmont Health and Fitness Club for the GST free lunch upcoming.
Dave Stone.
See you tomorrow.
News Radio.
Have fun.
WGST.
Hey, we are the original boys in the hood. So leave us alone.
Everybody's thinking this stuff.
Rush Limbaugh.
Whether they say it or not, of course, I say it.
Noon to 3 this afternoon on News Radio WGST. The Supreme Court saves some big decisions for the end of its term.